Hello and welcome to Document. In this video, we're going to show you how to loop through and expand your linked records from your Airtable data to find the information you're looking for. This tutorial will work using either the generation link or automation script methods. So here we have an output from what we're looking for. We have line items in here that are looped through. So we have 1, 2, 3 line items, and this information here is something that is further linked to the linked line item. So we're going to explore how to get all of this information nice and neatly in line items with 2 expanded levels deep. So let's go to our Airtable base. And we see in here that we have 3 tables we're going to use: the demo line items, and extra info. So this is our generation table. So we have our button. We're going to use the generation link method using a button field today. And then this table is linked to our line items. So we have 3 line items that we want to show as per our invoice. And then those line items live in here. So these are the 3 line items we want to loop through and show pricing and quantity. And then these line items are also linked to some extra info. And our extra info lives another level deep in another table. So we want to show the notes associated with each of these items. So how do we go about that? Well, let's see what we get first of all. If we bring in our template here, this is our template from Document. And at the moment, we don't have any looping set up. We've set up our variables, so they're all mapped across from our Airtable, but we don't have any looping involved in here just yet. The first thing we need to do, however, is to go to our Document account, go to Settings, go to Integrations, and we need to add in our Airtable API key. So I've already done mine here, but you need to paste in your Airtable API key in this area, and then the generation link and the automation script methods will work just fine. So if you want to know how to find your Airtable API key, you can go to your Airtable, click on your account, open that up, and here you have your API key. So you would just click and highlight that, copy that over to your settings here, drop it in here, and click Save. Okay. So first of all, let's have a look and see what we get when we generate our document first of all. So we click our button, everything's linked up. And we've got our template, which is correct. It's adding up some totals for us. It's bringing across information, but it's not looping through any line items. Okay, so how do we do that? All right, so we are going to give ourselves a little bit more room here. Like so, and we can work side by side. So the first thing we need to do is to tell the section that we want to loop through. So this, don't forget, is this are the line items we want to loop through, and we want to copy this field entirely. And we want to create a new variable. Go to New Variable, Airtable, paste that in, and this will give us a tokenized version. So we can just copy that to use later. But now we want to go through an entire section. So this is what we want to loop through every time we find a new line item. And we want to loop through the entire section. Okay. So we highlight the whole section, go to Edit Logic, Repeat Loop, paste in our variable. Just remove those brackets. We don't need them at the moment. Save that. Okay, so let's see what happens when we do that. Create an invoice. Okay, great. So this is what we had a moment ago. Now we've looped through our line items and it's bringing in all of the information, the item name, price, quantity, etc. Looks great so far. Okay, the next thing we want to do though is we need to get the extra information. If you remember our target, we wanted to bring in some notes for each of the individual line items. Okay, but that's in another table. So if we go to our line items, we have the linked record here already. Okay, so we need to tell Airtable and document how to find the information that we need. So first of all, let's go to our column here. We're going to add another column. And this is called extra info. So let's copy that. And we just want this text to change, but we want it to change based on the information in the next table down, the extra info table. So let's add edit logic. Oops, should make a variable first. There we go, copy that. Now we can edit the logic just in the text field because we're already looping through the line items. Info. Okay. We save that. And then we want to show, so we can now look in our extra info field. So we've gone a level deep down. You can see here, this structures it nicely for us. So this tells us, this is everything in the connected table where we have our generation button. This is everything in the first linked table, and this is everything in the next linked table. Okay, so at the moment we've just got item name, but we probably don't want that because it was copied over. So we want this notes field here. This is the one we want. Oops. So we're going to copy that. We're going to need to make our variable. Paste that in. Give that a copy. Like that full text field, and drop in our variable. So now we should see this change. There we go. So now we're going into demo line items, then we're going into extra info, and then we're going to look for notes in there, and we want to bring that in. Okay, so shall we give this a try and see what we get? Button. Okay, so nothing showing at all, but we've got the section here. So what could be wrong? Well, if you'll notice in our first table here, we included this table ID for the demo line items. So what this is doing is saying, I want to loop through the demo line items, my linked record, but Airtable doesn't document all of the information in one go. We need to ask it a few more questions. So what this field here is doing is saying all of the line items live in this table. Okay, so this table ID here is the table ID of demo line items, and we can prove that. So that ends CQS. We go to demo line items. We look in our URL. You see it ends CQS. Okay, so we haven't done that though for the next level down. This is only one level. So it's finding information, it just doesn't know what to return to you. So what we need to do is go to our demo line items. And here we have our extra info. That's where our notes live. Our table has the notes in here. But we need to then give a table ID for the extra info table, like so. So we copy our field exactly. one more table. And this is really important how we name this. So it's the field name space capital T table underscore capital I small d. And we need a formula field. And let's just put holder in there for now while we get the right name. So create that field. Now we need to go, if you recall, to our link table. We need to grab the table ID out of the URL here. Copy that. Go back. Open that up again. In between our quotations, we're going to paste the table ID. There we go. Okay. So the last step in here is that we want to make sure that our button field is correct. So what we do is go to our integrations. We click on Airtable, generation link, and it's going to ask us for a few pieces of information. So we want the table URL of the table that we want our button in, which in this case is called demo. So let's just copy our whole URL in here. Our attachment field is called invoice. Must be a verbatim match. And we can choose some options here. We can overwrite. And this is the important one. We want to expand the linked records. So we know that we're 2 levels deep here. This is our first level. This is our generation level. This is our first level, which happens by default. And then this is our second level. So you don't need to count the first table in your expanded records. You only need to start counting from whichever table the link record's in. So in this case, we have 2. So we need to put a number 2 in here, but we can go up to 5. There are 5 levels that we could work through. And the mode we'll leave as default. This we'll leave as none for now, and this gives us a formula for our button field. So let's copy that. We'll go back to our button field. We'll clear everything out, and we'll paste that in. And that way we know we've got the right level of expanded links, and we know everything's set correctly. Save that down. We can close that out. So now we should have everything we need. Let's give this one more try. And here we are. So we have looped records, loop line items, and then associated notes, another level deeper that are linked to the line item. So just to clarify, we've got our generation level here, line items here. These line items live in this linked record. And then this record is also linked to some extra information we want to show, which is another level deep. Okay. So, as always, I hope that was helpful. Please let us know if you have any questions at all. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.